Good morning and welcome to Peace Out, where we are all learning together to peace out. I hope you've had a good week. I hope you've had a good Friday morning, and I hope you're ready for the weekend because it's almost here, like it or not, right? For some of us, it doesn't really matter. Weekends are really no different than the rest of the week, but that's okay. We can think about the weekend, and it's an attitude. The weekend is an attitude. Mondays can be an attitude, and those can be changed. Those can be rolled over to and our cares given to Him, and every day means we got peace. Every day means we got grace. Every day means we got mercy. So it doesn't matter. God doesn't say, "Oh, it's the weekend, I'm off." That's the good news, right? God's not off for the weekend. He doesn't say, "I'll be back on Monday. Hope y'all do okay. Good luck. We'll see." Right? No, He's got us every single day, no matter what. He is our peace. We've been in Mark 6 all week, and this morning I realized we could actually go another extra day here, but I'm going to try to wind it down today so we can do something new next week, right? But this has just been a power-packed chapter in Mark, all these different things. So, I mean, we had Jesus in Nazareth, and he couldn't do any miracles because they didn't believe. Then he sent out the apostles, and they did miracles. Right? They healed and they cast out demons. Then we have the story of John the Baptist being beheaded and just out of jealousy. We talked about those things it can't take the peace away, but it can interrupt us from letting it reign in our heart, right? We get distracted. We got this peace distractors, right? Because it can't take it away. God gave it to us. The devil can't take away, and even life can't take away from anything God promised us in this word. It's just our heads that talk us out of it when circumstances get our attention, and we get our attention and our affection on things that aren't in this word. Then we lose that in the sense that we lose a grip on it, but it's still there. It doesn't go anywhere. We talked about that. We talked about Him feeding the 5,000 yesterday, and that's an amazing story. And I thought today, even because I was thinking back through all of this week, and I thought, what if the kid hadn't showed up with that lunch? What if his mom hadn't packed his lunch that day? What if he hadn't followed the crowd? What if he hadn't shared it? What if he ate it before he got there? I mean, I've done that before. I used to pack my lunch when I was a teacher, and some mornings I was just hungry. It'd be gone before I got to lunch, and then I had to buy lunch, right? But there were so many things that could have gone wrong in that story, but it didn't. It all worked out right, but they still got hungry. They still had to travel, and they still had to walk back. But God was in the whole story. Jesus was there, and it was a miracle. And so now He's told His disciples, after they fed the 5,000, He's like, "Go, get in your boat and head across." And it said he went up to the hills by himself to pray. He spent that time, because that's what they came here for. If you remember, they came across there and the crowds met them there, but He was moved with compassion. He didn't send them away. Instead, He performed miracles. He fed them, and he fed them spiritually, and He fed them naturally, right? He takes care of life and godliness, right? The things of the natural and the things of the spiritual. And so now He's like, "Go, and I'm going to go pray." And then during the night, it says the disciples are in their boat. There's a storm comes, and Jesus was alone on land, but He saw that they were in serious trouble. You ever been in serious trouble? He sees it. He saw that they were rowing hard and that they were struggling against the wind and the waves. He saw their difficult circumstances. Right? And it says about 3 a.m, get this, just get this picture in your brain, right? Use your imagination. About 3 a.m, He came to them walking on the water. He started to go past them. I'm like, seriously? How fast was He walking? He was trying to run a marathon? How far was it across the lake? I need to look that up and see how far it was, because He was going to go past them. He was going to be waiting on the other side when they got there. But He stopped because He heard their cries. It says when they saw Him, they screamed in terror because they thought He was a ghost. And in my margin, I wrote, they screamed like little girls. I can just imagine all these disciples in the boat screaming like little girls because they thought they saw a ghost. Hey, I would probably scream too. I'm not saying that with any judgment at all, because I would have been scared too. I might have jumped out and tried to swim away or something. I don't know. I'd have been scared too. I got no judgment. But He saw them, and when He saw that, He spoke to them. Isn't that how it happens in our lives? Things get all messed up. Things get choppy. Things get difficult. We struggle.
We find ourselves in serious trouble. We row hard, and we fight. We struggle against the waves and the winds of life. And then something scares us on top of that. We're already in a hard situation, a difficult situation, and something else happens. And then God speaks to us and says, it's okay. I am with you. That's exactly what he told him. He said, I'm here. It's all right. I'm here. Don't be afraid. 3 things. It's all right. It's going to be okay. Boy, I need to hear that this morning, right? It's going to be okay because he's here and we don't have to fear. He is with us in the middle of a struggle, serious trouble. And when he sees us working so hard, he's with us anyway. It says he was going to walk to the other side. He was going to pass them by. How rude, right? He didn't, but he was literally just headed to the other side. He was on a mission. He was going somewhere. And this shows us that God is distracted, and that's not the right word. Don't take that in the negative connotation, but he's distracted by our cries for help. He sees the struggle. And when we cry out, he goes, it's okay. I'm here. Don't be afraid. No matter what our struggle is, no matter what arena of life, and there's 7 basic, just so you know, but from health coaching, no matter what arena it is, God sees it and he's in it with us. He's not going to pass us by. But there's more to the story. And I love this. He got in the boat. It says he climbed into the boat and the wind stopped. He didn't even command it. He didn't stand up in the boat. He didn't say, okay, wind stop this time. This is a totally different time, right? But it says when he climbed into the boat, it stopped. And they were astonished. They were like, wow. They were totally in wow mode. He got in the boat and the wind just stopped immediately. If we let him in our boat, it'll stop a lot of winds that we face, right? But you still got to get across the lake, right? But then this is interesting to me because then it says they still didn't understand the significance of the miracle of the multiplied loaves, for their hearts were hard and they didn't believe. This is the disciples. This is the ones that were walking with Jesus, that we can only imagine what it was like to break off a piece of bread and give it to someone and go back. And Jesus is still breaking 7 loaves, giving it to 12 disciples, who is dispersing it out to 5,000 people, minimal, more than that, more than 5,000 people. Just 5,000 men meant probably, who knows, 6, 8, 10,000 people. And who knows how many was there, but at least they saw it and didn't get it. We have to imagine it, but they were standing there. They heard his voice. They saw this. They were in the boat and he got in the boat and the wind stopped. The storm stopped, right? And yet they still didn't believe. They still didn't get it because their hearts were hard and they did not believe. If we don't believe that he gave us peace, we'll never reap that benefit. We won't be able to let it rain in our heart because what we don't believe, we can't receive, right? If we don't believe that he's going to give us grace to face whatever we got to face today, we won't reap the benefit of that grace. If we don't believe that his mercies were new this morning, we won't reap the benefit of those refreshed mercies just for us. We've got to believe. That's the whole thing. It says they just didn't quite get it because they didn't believe. Their hearts were hard. This is going to be my prayer. This is what I'm going to be praying on this whole weekend is show me areas where my heart is hard. Show me areas where I don't believe. That's going to hurt my feelings. If God does show me something that I don't believe, that's going to kind of hurt my feelings because I think I got it, But I want to know that because I want to go in there, and there's a scripture that talks about breaking up the fallow soil. I want to go in there and break that up, and I want to make my heart a place where God's grace lives and where I reap that benefit and where I believe that he gave me his peace. I have to believe that he's my righteousness. I have to believe that I can come through the cross and stand on this side righteous before God, even when I'm dumb, even when I do stupid stuff. God's righteousness and his blood, Jesus' blood, is still enough to carry me. When we don't believe, we don't receive. It's not a big, heavy kingdom principle. excuse me, it's just a fact that whatever we don't believe, we can't receive. If somebody said, I put $1 million in your bank account and it's sitting there and you don't believe they did that, it's just going to sit there. You don't get to reap the benefit. I can spend it. I'm going to be checking my account at least every 5 minutes to see, is it there yet? Is it there yet? Is it there yet? Because I got some bills I want to pay, right? But if we don't believe that deposit was made, we can't draw on that deposit. We have to believe what God said. If he told us we're righteous, we draw on that. We go, I'm righteous because he made me righteous, not because I do everything right, and not because I have everything figured out, and not because I'm so smart, but I'm righteous because he said I'm righteous. I'm his beloved because he says I'm his beloved. I have the peace of God because he said he was giving me his peace. He never took it back. I have the grace, the mercy, it says that the goodness of God is laid up for those of us who believe. We have to believe first. We will never receive what we don't believe, even if that's forgiveness. I had an uncle who was an alcoholic, and he had it's a long story, but he was in the Korean War and had shot some people, and he thought God would not forgive him and love him because he killed people, even in a war. It wasn't like he went out and went on a murder spree or something like that and hurt innocent people. He was in a war and he thought God couldn't forgive him. There was a day he finally did. He called my mom and said, come pray with me. And mom went over and prayed with him, and he did get saved before he passed. And it's an amazing, amazing story, and a whole lot more to it. But for many years, he didn't reap the benefit of that because he thought God couldn't forgive him. He thought God was going to hold that against him, which wasn't even true to begin with, right? But he had a problem in his belief system, and he lived in misery for years because he didn't know and he didn't believe. And then when he believed, he had peace for the last several years of his life because he knew that God loved him no matter what had happened. And he had to let go of that judgment on himself. But the whole thing was, until he believed it, he couldn't enjoy it. He couldn't receive it. We have to say, God gave me peace, and I'm going to walk in that peace. God is my provider, and I'm going to walk in that provision. He's a God of multiplicity. We see in Mark 6. We see a lot in Mark 6. He's the God that heals. We see that in just this chapter. He came to them in the boat. He calmed this storm, and he can calm the storms in our lives too. We have to believe to receive. We have to believe to act on it, though. So my question before we go into this weekend, sorry, I went a bit long. No, right. My question is, what do you believe? Do you believe you're saved? Do you believe the blood of Christ was enough to make you righteous before God? Do we believe that he heals? Do we believe that he provides? Do we believe that he's given us peace? Because if we don't believe it, we'll be like the disciples here. They didn't get it. They just didn't get it because their hearts were hard and they couldn't understand the bread and the loaves, even though they watched it with their own eyes, the bread and the loaves. The bread and the fish, the loaves and the fish, they couldn't get that miracle because they had a belief system problem. So my prayer for all of us this weekend is that he fixes our belief system, that we believe everything we read in this word, and that it's practical and applicable for today. And that we will be able to apply the word, the grace to our heart, that we'll receive his grace, that we'll receive his love, that we'll receive forgiveness, that we'll receive his peace, his mercy, his grace, all these things that our belief system will be healed, and that he will come to us in whatever storm we're facing in our lives. And he will tell us, it's all right. I'm here. Don't be afraid. And then when he gets in that boat, there's that peace that he always brings. Why? He can't leave home without it. He is the Prince of Peace. It's always with him. And all we got to do is believe and trust, and he's got us covered. Peace out. I hope I said something that made sense today. Have a great weekend, and I will see you bright and early Monday morning.